Good evening, all. In this session, we'll discuss on the topic capital and its types. So, first of all, let me tell what is capital. In economics, capital consists of assets that can enhance one's power to perform economically useful work for. So, capital consists of an assets that can enhance one's power to perform economically useful work. For example, a stone or an arrow is capital for a hunter gatherer who can use it as a hunting instrument. Similarly, roads are capital for inhabitants of a city. So, capital is distinct from land and other non renewable sources in that it can be increased by human labor and does not include certain durable goods like homes and personal automobiles that are not used in the production of saleable goods and services. Saleable goods and services. So here capital is distinct from land. Generally, we are going to mean that capital is an asset. So generally, we are going to consider that land and some renewable, non-renewable sources and land, homes, durable goods like homes and personal automobiles as assets. But assets are different from capital. So assets are generally not used in the production of sellable goods and services. But capital is distinct from land, which can be used in the production of saleable goods and services. Adam Smith defined capital as that part of man's stock which he expects to afford him revenue. In economic models, capital is an input in the production function. So generally, the capital is an input. Let me tell what are the capital which we are going to use in the production function. Generally, we are going to use the men, machines, and equipment, and some finance. Okay, so these can be considered as the capital, which are going to require in the production process. So what is the meaning of capital? The term capital is used in economics. The term capital is used in economics in various senses. In ordinary language and sometimes in economics also, capital is used in the sense of money. But when we talk of capital as a factor of production, to confuse capital with money is quite wrong. Of course, money is used to purchase various factors such as raw materials, machinery, labor, which help to produce goods, but money itself does not directly help in the production of goods. So the money which is available for investment and productive purposes are being called money capital or financial capital by some economists. But money capital is not real capital. The real capital consists of machinery, tools, tube bell, factories, tractors, etc., which directly assist in the production of goods. So the actual meaning of capital is it doesn't mean money is a capital. Okay. So actually the money cannot be directly used in the production of goods, but in turn we are going to use that money for buying raw materials, machinery, labor, which help to produce the goods and services. So the money which is available for investment as well as productive purposes can be called as money capital or financial capital. Then coming to the types of capital. Financial capital, which represents obligations and is liquidated as money for trade and owned by legal entities. It is in the form of capital assets traded in financial markets. Its market value is not based on the historical accumulation of money invested but on the perception by the market of its expected revenues and the risk entailed. So generally, the financial capital is nothing but is doesn't It is owned by the legal entities. It is in the form of capital assets traded in the financial market. Its market value does not based on the historical accumulation of money invested, but it depends on the perception of by the market of its expected revenues and of the risk entailed. So examples are bank loans, personal loans, overdraft agreements, and credit card debt. These are some of the examples of financial capital, which we are going to use these in terms of production process. Natural capital, which is inherent in ecologies and which increases the supply of human wealth. Then social capital, which in private enterprise is partly captured as goodwill or brand value, but is more general concept of interrelationships between human beings having money-like value that motivates actions in a similar fashion to paid compensation. Then instructional capital. Defined originally, it is defined originally in academic as that aspect of teaching and knowledge transfer that is not inherent in individuals or social relationships but transferable. So, through instruction, various theories use names like knowledge or intellectual capital to describe similar concepts, but these are not strictly defined as in the academic definition and have no widely agreed accounting treatment. Then, coming to the public capital. It's a blanket term that attempts to characterize physical capital that is considered infrastructure and which supports production in unclear or poorly accounted ways. This encompasses the aggregate body of all government owned assets that are used to promote private industry productivity, including highways, railways, airports, water treatment facilities, telecommunications, electric grids, energy utilities, municipal buildings, public hospitals and schools, police, fire protection, courts, and still others. However, it is a problematic term insofar as many of these assets can be either publicly or privately owned. So these are indirectly can be all the public utilities can be called as capital because they are directly or indirectly help in the production activities like transportation, regarding hospitals, regarding buildings, energy utilities, electric grids, communication facilities. All these we are going to use in the production process, not directly but indirectly. Ecological capital is the world's stock of natural resources, which includes geology, soils, air, water, and all living organisms. Some natural capital assets provide people with free goods and services, often called ecosystem services. Two of these, clean water and fertile soil, underpin our economy and society and make human life possible. So ecological capital is nothing but it refers to the natural resources which are going to help in the production process. Like what are the natural resources like sun, air, water, soil, like minerals, so all the living organisms. So all these can be considered as a natural capital which can be treated as assets and also provide the people with free goods and services, often called ecosystem services. Two of these, that is clean water and fertile soil, underpin our economy and society and make human life possible. So with this clean water and fertile soil, we can able to make our human life possible without any harm. Equity capital. It refers to the funds generated by the sale of the stock, either common or preferred shares. While these funds need not be repaid, investors accept a certain rate of return. So these are going to generated the generated by the sale of finished goods. Whenever you are going to uh, get the returns by the sales of the goods produced, that can be treated as the equity capital. That profit can be again be reused as the capital for the next production process. That can be called as equity capital. While these funds need not be repaid, investors expect a certain rate of return. So economic capital, it may also take the it may also take the form of cash or other assets like real estate, commodities, equipment, vehicles, and so forth, which may be disposed of for cash in the market. Then coming to the next one, social capital. Social capital is an even more intangible asset referring to the relationships people have to each other and the desire they have to do things for and with others within their social networks. People tend to do things with help and encourage those in their same social network, creating a cycle of mutually beneficial reciprocity. In other an individual's social network, social capital is the value of the content of the relational ties between people and not a product of the members of the network in and of itself. For instance, if you have a wealthy uncle in your network, knowing he could lend you money in a pinch would be would be to leverage the relationships through social capital. That means human support, moral support from the individual whenever you are going to have a need. Similarly, in the production process also, you need to build a social network which are going to help in the production process. That is nothing but social capital. So that means why here the individuals are important because of their skills and labor which we are going to use in the production process. That's why we are going to treat it as a social capital. Next, coming to the fixed capital and working capital. So capital may be classified into fixed capital and working capital. Fixed capital is durable producer goods which are used in production again and again till they wear out. So machinery, tools, railway tractors, factories, etc. all are fixed capital. So the capital which you are going to lend on buying land, building, so that can be called as fixed capital. So fixed capital doesn't mean fixed in location. So capital like plant, tractors, factories are called fixed because money spent upon these durable goods remains fixed or unrealized for a long period, in contrast with the money spent on purchasing raw materials which is recovered as soon as goods made with them are sold. Yes, fixed is clear. For example, whatever you are going to spend the money on the goods like tractors, factories, machinery, tools, land. So on them, the money cannot be returned. So they are going to help in the production process, but whenever you are going to spend money on purchasing raw materials, which can be recovered soon. Why? Because that raw materials are converted into finished goods, which can be sold in the market, which in turn we are going to get the profit by the raw materials. So such capital can be known as, cannot be called as fixed capital. So then working capital. So working capital on the other hand are the single user producers, goods like raw materials, fertilizers, goods in process and fuel. They are used up in a single act of production. Moreover, money spent on them is fully recovered when goods made with them are sold in the market. Yes. So the goods like raw materials, fertilizers, goods in process, and fuel. So whatever the money which you are going to spend on such things, which in turn gives profit or which in turn money, can be known as working capital. Human capital. So human capital is meant that stock of people equipped with education, skills, health, etc. It has now been found that the rate of growth achieved in the developed countries cannot be wholly explained by the increases in physical capital and advances in technology. A good part of economic growth has occurred due to the accumulation of human capital. It has now been realized that human capital formation is as important in increasing production and productivity as the physical capital formation. An educated, trained, and skilled man is much more productive than an uneducated, untrained, and unskilled. Yes, human capital is nothing but it relates to the people's education, skills, as well as health, etc. Why? Because they are directly involving in the production of goods and services. If such if such people are well educated and trained, and also they are going to update the skill, if they are going to have good skills regarding production and also well trained, then it is more profitable. Then the outcome is then then the output is very excellent than the people who are uneducated and untrained and unskilled. So from that individuals have who are going to have enough skills and also who are going to enough uh, methodologies and also who have enough skills in the production activities, from them we can able to get more production, and also we are going to get good profits. So that is what we are going to have as human capital. So that means the rate of growth achieved in the developed countries, it is depending upon the, so generally the rate of growth of any developed country depends upon the human capital, not on the advances in capital or technology. Human capital is a much less tangible concept, but its contribution to a company's success is no less important. Human capital refers to the skills and abilities a company's employees bring to the operation. Though it's hard to quantify human capital in dollars, most companies know that employee performance can be greatly enhanced by continuing, continuing education classes, professional development seminars, and healthy living programs. Many businesses choose to invest in the happiness, and well-being of their employees because this investment indirectly benefits the bottom line by cultivating a happier, more efficient workforce. So, this our session has been completed. Let me recall that all the topics. Capital. So, according to Adam Smith, capital is nothing but it's a part of man's stock which he expects to afford him revenue. So, nothing in economic models, capital is an input in the production function. And then types of capitals, what we have: financial capital, natural capital, social capital, instructional capital, public capital, ecological capital, equity capital, economic capital, social capital, fixed capital, and working capital, and not but least human capital. So with this, I am going to stop my session. Thank you one and all. Next session we will meet with another topic. Thank you one and all.